Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Super Metroid. And the last part we got back here to Norfair, and now we're actually going to head towards the last main non-final area of the game. Getting there is actually going along a very familiar route. If you recall towards the, what was it called? It was along the route that we used to get the wave beam. There was a lower area of a room I didn't access, and it's actually in that area. Also, if you want to restock on items, you can use the enemy restock room there that I showed off back when we were first here in Norfair, but I don't need to. Also, since we got the gravity suit, I think I mentioned it when we got it. I don't know, I recorded that part like 2 weeks ago. You actually now take no damage at all from the original type of lava. Acid still does damage, but I think it does it at the rate of the original lava when you had the various suit. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm not entirely sure. The gravity suit's always been kind of vague as to how it works. I know a certain attack later on only checks for the various suit, not the gravity suit, but beyond that, I'm not sure. Oh, geez, that's a foreboding rock structure. I wonder who we're going after now. That room there to the left, by the way, is a save room. And players of Metroid Prime will recognize this musical track. I'll just let it play for about half a minute. This is still one of my, this is actually my second favorite track in the game. Next only to Lower Brinstar. Lower Norfair here is fantastic. There's a reason they brought it back as the Magmore Cavern theme in Prime. Anyway, we got another Chozo statue here who thankfully doesn't walk us into the acid, otherwise that would have ended very poorly for us. But instead lowers the acid for us to continue on. And we got these guys who, for some reason, I think I may have mentioned it on one of the Zero Mission Let's Plays, but they remind me of Meta Knight for some reason. I don't know why. Also, jump over that lowered portion of the ground there. That is crumbling blocks, and that means you'll only be able to get back to this missile if you backtrack all the way around in a circle. Not very fun to do. I'm placing a power bomb here just so I know how to place it over there. Why? Well, there's a super missile there. However, as you also noticed, it also shows us that we have to fight another Torizo. Great! Although, one weird thing is, even though the Torizo isn't active at the moment, it actually does still damage you. But anyway, this isn't any Torizo, this is the Golden Torizo. This guy can be actually pretty tricky if you're on your first playthrough. He has that barf attack still, and that laser eye, which explodes after a few seconds. And he still has that laser swipe attack, which he's doing right now. The big tricky thing about him isn't even his damage, it's the fact that you have to hit him with the charge shot. If you shoot a normal missile at him, he sidesteps it, and if you shoot a super missile at him, he catches the damn thing and throws it back at you. Charge shots are the way to go. His damage output can be kind of surprising. In fact, as you notice here, I actually would have technically died if it wasn't for my reserve tanks. But he is pretty easy once you realize his pattern. The best way to get him is to corner him against the wall and have him continuously jump. Not that hard, not that hard, but his damage output might surprise you, if his appearance doesn't surprise you in general. And here we get another returning item, the Screw Attack. Now, my space jump is a sawblade of doom, destruction, and death. I am not joking, this thing pretty much one-shots everything. And I'm going to take a quick little pit stop in this room because this is an energy recharge station, which is always useful. That does not refill your reserve tanks as I'm showing off, though. The only way to refill those is either by collecting life when your energy tanks are full, or by visiting your ship. Which I am kind of nowhere near, so I have to stick with the latter option. Also, the Screw Attack actually makes a really satisfying sound effect. I still think my favorite version of it is the Zero Mission version in terms of the sound effect it makes, but that's probably just because I've played that game so many times. You can power bomb the top blocks in that room, but it's nothing useful to me. And this room makes no sense, because the moment we destroy all these pillars, the ceiling should just come crashing down on us, but oh well. Then again, it is a natural cave formation. Actually, that's one thing a lot of people seem to mistake. This isn't where the space pirates are from. The space pirates we're seeing here are in fact Zabesian, yes, but the space pirates themselves actually come from somewhere else. Zabesians are just mindless guys that are easy to command, as I think one of the Prime Games logs goes into. This is technically a Chozo homeworld. It's actually also where Samus grew up as a child after her parents were murdered on K2L, I think the station was called. Also, you can power bomb this place up here to get to our next little power-up. It's in this area that you should, by the time you exit, have maxed out your missile capacity, because this is where the last missile stuff is. And in this little Mickey Mouse, we got ourselves missile number... something. Let's see, we started with 5. 220 is... 46 later. I don't know how to math right now. It's the middle of Christmas break, damn it, I don't want to have to use math, even though that's what my homework was. Damn you! What am I in? I forget what damn math class I'm in, wow. Oh well. Actually, by the time this goes up, I might very well be close to graduating high school. Oh, wow, that's kind of, it's kind of weird to think about. Either way, there's acid constantly rising in that last room. It doesn't hurt the space pirates at all. In fact, if you re-enter from the room on the right, the acid will actually have filled the room, and they're just walking around in it all fine and dandy. Anyway, this room's weird because it has a natural rock formation of not only Ridley, but his claw, and an energy tank, thank you. So that's kind of weird. And it's also returned to these little firefly enemies we saw towards the room in the... where we got the X-ray scope. When you kill one, it gets darker. Or if they run into you, apparently they're suicidal. Yeah. You know, I'm actually very well curious about what my final in-game times are going to be at the end of this. This might be a personal record, actually. Anyway, in this little corridor here that you need the power bombs or just your blaster to access, we have red versions of these bug enemies from earlier. For some reason, it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I realized I should probably be screw attacking into them and not shooting them with my gun. You're also going to be using a lot of power bombs in this area just to access the next places because there's a lot of power bomb doors and blocks in this place. Or just bombable blocks in general. You know, I do have to wonder what kind of climate were the Chozo adaptable to, considering they can go not only from the rather tropical areas of Talon 4 Overworld to the brisk and hot places of Magmore Caverns without many problems at all. And again, we never the logs in the Prime series aside, we never really get much backstory on the Chozo themselves, do we? Maybe we need a game to explain some of that stuff if they would make another Metroid game. I mean, guys, I know Other M was in some ways a critical failure, though I actually really liked it. But come on. I mean, they even canceled the Metroid 3DS for Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. And, ugh. I want more badass bounty hunter. Anyway, we got black space pirates here. This is their only appearance in the game. They can only be damaged when they're golden, which they do upon judo kicking. Their kind of concept will be brought back towards the Ridley fight in Fusion, although they have a glitch with them in that game where you can just face away from them and any damage will in fact count, as I showed off during those two Let's Plays. They only take 2 charged plasma shots to take down, though. Well, charged plasma shot plus all the other beams that it can be equipped with it, because the damage does actually stack. And we got this area, which looks very similar to Kraid from Metroid 1, I just realized. Huh. That's actually kind of clever. Well, Kraid and Ridley, because they share tile sets, I believe. Got one final boss door. Well, second to last one. Which means we're about to fight a rather pogo-y dragon. And if you use the X-ray scope, you can actually see his silhouette. Very barely. Very briefly, though. Use a power bomb to do some extra damage before the fight even starts, and it's time for Ridley. Ridley is actually a very simple boss. He likes to fly high up in the room and pogo on his tail along with swinging at him. I think he has a fireball attack, but beyond that, all he'll do is pogo with his thing, do that fireball attack right there, actually. and fly across the room. You can be kind of surprised by his damage output, but he's honestly not that hard at all. The best way to go about fighting him is to use all your super missiles upon him, and then just do charge shots, because at this point our beam fully charged does more damage than a missile. In fact, the only use for missiles is upon my final boss fight, and opening missile doors, of which I think there's only 2 of left in the game. Well, that I haven't... Well, that I have to go through. Because I have not shown a single map room off in this entire game. Have I? Oh well. There are actually 2 ways you can kill Ridley. Either you can drain his HP to its bare minimum and he'll explode, which is what I do here. Or when he's really close to death, he will actually try to grab Samus and explode as a suicide attack, which does no damage. It's a weird little detail, but yeah, it's there. And I'm guessing that's how they're intended to do it storyline-wise, because that's probably how they got the DNA on her in order to bring back Ridley and Other M, but oh well. I wouldn't want to know the process of bringing back Ridley, actually, ugh. Or why he came back as a demonic Furby. You guys ever have Furbies when you were kids? Those things are creepy as hell. In fact, one of my brother's ones is in actually the next room's closet, and apparently it wakes up in the middle of the night just to make him feel disturbed, which is weird. And Squidgy's capsule's empty, no! Ooh, energy tank. Everything is well. But, yeah, Squidgy's not here, so, that's not good. But with that, we're actually right on our way to the final area. There's just a couple more things I have to do along the way. Namely, I'm cutting back to this room because this is the way towards the exit. Because, yeah. On the top of this, there's a door to the right. However, that's not where you want to go. You want to head through this door, which not even the X-ray visor can see through for some reason. And then you're in this series of rooms, which is where you get a lot of the last power-ups and such. We also got the demonic seahorses back from earlier in Norfair. Oh yeah, that's actually a weird thing. Well, first off, over here there's a missile tank. This is technically considered Ridley's lair, but it's actually called Lower Norfair. Ridley's lair has always been technically Lower Norfair, but it's called Ridley in any other game it's in. Gonna want to use the spring ball a lot in this section because it's how you get to this next power-up. In fact, I think this is the only mandatory use for the spring ball. And in doing so, you get to this door, which leads us to the room we were in, well, the room we didn't enter earlier. You need to shoot these heads and then go on the platforms they're on in order for them to crumble and you to get this power bomb. I think that's actually the last power bomb. It should be. Because, let's see, max missiles is 230, max super missile and power bomb is 50. Yeah, that should be the last one. I don't really have a checklist for this, but I really should. Actually, that's one thing I really don't like about Fusion and Zero Mission, as much as I love those games more than this. Well, the thing is, in Metroid 2 and Super Metroid, and even Metroid 1, you can get everything along the way. In Zero Mission and Fusion, you have to go out of your way to get stuff, which I honestly don't like that much, but oh well. And also, there's the last missile tank. Yay! Actually, that means we're only going to get to hear the item obtaining theme one more time. Huh. That's kind of sad, actually. But yeah, with that, we're also done here in Ridley's lair, so let's get out of here. As you'll notice right here, the music actually transitions into the normal Norfair theme. You might be wondering why that is. Well, you might want to look at the mini-map. We're actually towards an area we've been before in normal Norfair. Where exactly? Oh, right near where we got the wave beam. I think that's pretty clever, actually. With this, I'm actually going to be cutting back to Brinstar, but also I want to say that actually reminds me a bit of Zero Mission, finding a way to Ridley in normal Norfair. Because there's a shortcut you can use in Zero Mission to get to Ridley really early on, like right after getting the Ice Beam, in fact. Anyway, we're back where we got the Charge Beam much earlier in the game, because we can now use a Power Bomb to get to this section. This is where the last power-up in the game is, period. In order to get it, you do in fact need the Power Bomb, the Gravity Suit, and the Speed Booster. But you can actually come here anytime after you get those, but this is the first time I'm near the area, because I'm backtracking all the way back to my ship in doing this. And that's the last energy tank, which means we now should be 100%, unless I forgot something along the way. I really hope I didn't. So with that, I'm actually going to be cutting back to my ship in order to get a full restore and everything before we end things off. And I'm gonna try to keep this song on as long as possible because I love this song so much. And we should be getting back to our ship right about now. But with that and me getting a full restore and everything, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 9 we should be finishing off the game. See you guys then.